Kurt, a lot has changed in the last year. I mean, how are you approaching something like staffing when it comes to cybersecurity and preparing for the threats of the future?
So certainly this past year has been a real challenge, 18 months or so, with new workplace, new environment, new type of workforce. So, specific to cybersecurity, we've reimagined our organization. We're repurposing some skill sets, looking at more of a risk factor at this point, building out security operations center. Staffing has become a real challenge, especially with the remote workforce, where we've actually lost folks to the private sector more recently because the opportunity to work from home. It's just not about salary; it's also about that working condition. So at this point, we're working to recruit folks that have a sense of purpose for government service, restructuring some skill sets within the organization, and taking some responsibilities and moving them. For example, moving governance, compliance, and risk over to our chief risk officer, and really focus on our security team under security engineering, security response, incident response. So far so good, but it is a challenge to keep up with this workforce today, with the opportunities folks have in a different environment.
How important is that in this changing time to be able to, you're a technologist, right? You're a technology leader. How important is it to be able to focus on policy and people to drive some of the work that you're doing forward?
Yeah, I think from a policy perspective, we are really working on those three tenets of people, process, and technology, and we've spent the last year or so rebuilding our management team and our leadership team and refocus on our priorities. And from that, we've realized that our security organization and our technology organization, really needs to change. We need to really think about organizational structure, organizational leadership, making sure that we have the right focus. The pandemic has actually proven that we do a much better job with our business partners. The business partners have learned to work with us as well. So I think over the past 18 months or so, we've actually redefined our mission, redefined how we approach our mission, and really work with the business and bring in technology leaders that are also business leaders, but also more importantly understand how government works, and really kind of redefine our mission as really a continuity of government. It's an old term, but we've re-energized that approach to resiliency and continuity of services.
Let's talk about the pandemic a little bit. We're in a bit of a new world now. What's next for you and your team when it comes to things like digital services, telework, and how you're approaching not just serving state employees, but also serving residents? Yeah,
that's a great question. Over the past several months or so, we've been really refocusing on making sure that we have the appropriate infrastructure. We've really moved into a more mobile environment. What I mean by that is being able to make sure that people can work from anywhere, whether it be our state employee workforce or the citizens that actually need the services in a different way. We need to do a better job of delivering service in the way people actually live and work today. So we've taken this experience that we've all lived over the past 18 months and really kind of redefined how we're going to approach that. So we're really thinking about kind of resiliency from an infrastructure perspective, affordability, accessibility, availability. So these are the new tenets that we're looking at versus the old state IT kind of mentality. So it's really proven to be successful, and people are excited about it. It gives us an opportunity to really put something and understand what modernization means, and we can actually see the outcomes more immediate. So that's really been a good story for us.
Tell me a little bit about what that looks like in practice, right? So you said it's been successful. How so? What? Give me an example.
So some of the areas that we've been able to do, first of all, is put this workforce out, and we've actually committed to a hybrid workforce, not just from the IT perspective, but also our state workforce. And we've not really missed a beat. And we've built our technology platform around that to make sure that people do have the availability of tools. Moving into a new platform like 365, or moving into like this single device model where people can actually manage their business from anywhere. And I think from the business side of things, on our application approach, we've relied more on making sure that people can actually gain online services. We no longer have to worry about standing in a line. We've focused on some of these customer service challenges we had over the years, and we've put like online reservation systems to make a driver's license appointment. We've re-envisioned walk-in centers. We don't really need to do walk-in centers like we used to. We have different kiosks. We have different approaches to match the population and match the need. So it's been really exciting, and our digital team, has really kind of spent a lot of time thinking about how we better communicate. We've deployed some chatbots and some AI and some really more service-oriented approaches to the way we deliver services versus kind of just sit in the background. So I think this has really been the outcome. We've had great response and feedback from folks as well. So we'll keep moving down that road on that direction.
What's it like in a time of such great change, like a post-pandemic environment, to not only be growing and changing, but to be investing in new technologies like AI and chatbots and emerging technology?
So I think the investments, and again, I think it based on the experience we had over the past year or so. Certainly, we had a technology modernization strategy moving forward, but I think what's really exciting is that this really allowed us to accelerate. It allowed us to kind of learn how to operate in a different manner. I think from an IT perspective, it really gave my staff, especially my digital teams that have not really experienced in the crisis side of things. Their mission's been a little bit different, but they've actually got to experience how government should work. Not from a drawing board, but actually how it really works in real time. And I think the biggest success I've seen is our ability to adapt to the moment, to be able to deploy services and stand up products in the face of crisis, and not get stuck in having kind of these approaches that take months as opposed to days or weeks. So it's energy. I think the people are excited to actually see product, and the business folks, and certainly our citizens that we serve, and the residents and the visitors of the Commonwealth have benefited. So that's kind of what we're seeing. We're seeing the excitement of actually immediate outcomes, which I think is real gratification for us.
And to sort of wrap it up, I mean, what is all this work? Let's bring it back to the people, right? So, talking about revitalizing the workforce, giving them better digital tools. I mean, what does that do for workforce morale? What does that do for the ability to deliver on that mission for residents?
Sure. So that's a great question, because I think what we've seen in our workforce, and anecdotally, we've had some folks come back recently and say, geez, this OneDrive is just great. I mean, I never realized I could do this. I don't actually have to go into the office. I can actually do all I need from where I'm at. I can work from here, I can work from there. Now, in a state employee workforce, that's not the normal expectation, and we certainly have to balance that, but it's really given our staff and our workforce the ability to really think differently of how they can do their job. And it's based on outcomes versus actually just kind of going into the office just to kind of, get to the office, and having our management team managed by attendance versus managed by outcome. And that the tool set that we've presented and the approach from the workforce has been really a great way to do it.